Hello, hello, hello. Happy Sunday to you. I hope you've had an amazing weekend and you're ready to kickstart the next week. Okay, thank you very much for joining us today for another empowering and educative session. My name is Pauline Limen. If you're joining for the very first time, my name is Pauline Limen. I'm the founder of Star Reachers Community Initiative. It's a charity with a mission to raise aspiration and break the cycle of Black people on their achievement in education, as well as promote the well-being of BME and African children and their families. So that is what the organization is really all about. I'm also an educator, an education advocate. If you've been following me, you would know that I am very passionate about ensuring that our children are well educated. And I'm also a parent mentor and a life coach for children and teenagers. So today, thanks Lillian for joining. Today we're going to be discussing a really useful topic, a topic that I'm really passionate about. And it's titled, Who Does Your Child Hang Out With? Now, in this charity, we're really concerned about the well-being of our children. A lot of reports around our children and, the Black community is very negative. Our children are joining, more and more of our children are joining gangs, getting into dysfunctional behavior and not maximizing their potential in school. There is so much negativity now, but I believe that as a community, if we're going to have our voices heard, if we're going to be able to contribute positively and be a strong and respected community in this country, or if you're joining us from whichever other country, then we need to ensure that we are strategically and intentionally positioning our children. We can't leave a legacy if our children are taken away from us. We can't leave a legacy if our children are not fulfilling their potential in school. We can't leave a legacy if our children join dysfunctional behaviors, join gangs, are involved in crime. And I think it is one of the responsibilities of this charity to be able to enlighten us, within our community about these realities and how we as parents can take charge. We can't leave it for the government to do it. We can't leave it for the school. We can't leave our parenting role to the social services. It is primarily for us. It is a responsibility that we have to bear entirely. And that is why I think this is a very useful topic. I've spoken in a lot of communities and parents have the same questions. Parents are concerned, especially about their teenagers, that there is a breakdown of relationship with teenagers, not aligning themselves with the home values, teenagers, becoming wayward and that kind of thing. And that is why I thought it's useful to really tackle this today so that we can ensure that as a community, we are doing the things we have to do to be able to move forward and position our children aright. Have you wondered why your child starts to use a language that you don't use at home? And you never taught them this, to use that kind of language. You don't use swear words in your family home. Where does it come from? Have you wondered why children get involved in dysfunctional behavior that does not reflect your home values? Have you wondered why children get involved in gangs, in crime, in extremism? It's all about association. Association is powerful. Even the scriptures themselves say bad company corrupts good character. For those who believe in the Bible, that is what it says. There is a great power in who is influencing and who surrounds us. And there are a few quotes here that I want to have a look at. There's one that I like that says, if you lie with dogs, you will get up with fleas. Okay, that's another good one to do with the power of association. And there's another one I really like that says you are the average of the 5 people you spend most of your time with. Okay, so who is within your close friendship circle? Okay, so you can be measured based on who is in your friendship circle. Show me your friends and I'll tell you who you are. So if you show me your friends, It's really easy to tell who you are just by looking at who surrounds you. And that is why it is so important for us to ensure that we are in control, we are in charge of, who it is our children are associated with. Because children easily get influenced. You could see behavioral, your child's behavior starts to change. Their attitude to their schoolwork and just to life in general changes. I've worked with lots of teenagers while working as a teacher. They just become unmotivated, and you notice children within a certain group just having the same kind of motivation. Our values are influenced by who surrounds us. So you don't want your child's values to be influenced by the wrong people. The things that your child likes and dislikes will be influenced by the people that surround them. What sort of things they get involved to? Is it alcohol? Is it early teen relationships? Is it get a pornography? Name it. It all depends on who it is that is surrounding your child. And that has a power to affect your child's overall outcomes. And that is why I think it is really, really useful. Now, have you wondered, for those living in the UK or in any Western part of the world, have you ever wondered why middle and upper class families or people live away from the crowd? They live away from, the middle, the inner city areas, away from the deprived areas, okay? Or they send their children to private schools that are fee paying or to selective schools. They are simply paying for that, for being able to live in an environment where their children will have the right associations. So association is powerful. Now, I'm going to be asking some questions that I really want us as parents to think about. Do you know who your child's friends are? Can you name them? If you can't name, tell me, or if you cannot, you don't need to tell me, but if you can't name your child's friends, then there is a big issue there. So you need to know who your child's friends are. Do you always know where your child is and who they are with? So your child tells, your teenager maybe tells you they've gone out, or even your child in primary school goes out to play with their friends. Do you know who the friends are? It's really, really important that we know who the friends are. Do you know their parents? Have you ever spoken to their parents? Now, I'm not saying you need to be close friends with them. You don't have to be close friends with them, but it's important that at least you have said hello to them and just had a 1 or 2 minute conversation with them. There was once I did a talk in one event, and one parent was shedding tears talking about how her 17-year-old son ended up in prison due to wrong association. In their streets where they live, there were families that were involved in drugs. And obviously this parent didn't know, had just come from Africa and felt, okay, they come and knock on my door and say, can your child come and play with us outside? I say, okay, if children are playing outside, then it is okay for children to play outside. And she allowed her child to go play outside. And eventually her child got involved, started getting into this neighbor's home, who was involved in drugs. And that is how her son got involved in drugs. And at age 17, I can't recall quite well what happened, but this boy, unfortunately, found himself in drugs. So it's really important. Even if there are children on your street, you need to know, where do you live? If you live in a deprived area, the more reason why you need to know the values of the people around you. Remember, it is your responsibility as a parent to protect your child. The Word of God says, train up a child in the way he should go. So you can't allow your child to be swayed away out of direction due to wrong association. So you need to know who they are. You need to know their values, okay? If they're not the values that you share as a family, please, you need to do something about it. So chat with them. Sleepovers. I've seen a lot of parents letting their children go for sleepovers to families where they have no clue who they are. One, they may not know who their children's friends are that they're going to have a sleepover with. They don't know what the family values are, whether the parents will let them indulge in drugs or watch things that they shouldn't be watching. Okay? Research shows that during sleepovers, children have picked up a lot of negative baggage that they've brought back home. So it's really important. I discourage sleepovers, especially if you do not know who it is you're allowing your child to go to sleep over with. Okay, so you need to know if they want to go for a sleepover. I will tell my children, for example, okay, if there's a party, I'll go with you. I'll drop you off there, and I would, you could stay till this time, and then I'll bring you back home. If it's a 2-day party, I'll take you back there the next day. So we need to look for ways around this. We can't send our children for sleepovers when we don't really know who these people are, who these friends are. As I said at the start, a lot of parents consult with me, and a lot of parents, teenagers as young as 13, going out of bounds. We can't afford that in our community. We don't want to end up in the next 10 to 15 years with a bunch of young people that are lost. So we really need to ensure that we are taking charge as parents. So sleepovers, lots of question marks there. Unless you know as a parent, you know the parent, you know the home, you know the values, okay? Then you can allow your child. But I would say it is something I would discourage. Now, I'm going to share with you 11 things you can do as a parent. If you feel that you're struggling with, because a lot of the parents who have contacted me regarding struggles to do with their children are to do with teenagers. Now, if you have teenagers or children in general that you feel are going down the wrong route and you feel a bit helpless, I'm going to share with us 11 things that you can do to help the situation. It's not all lost. Now, the very first thing which is really important is develop a positive relationship with your child. Now, this is a big issue in our community, and it stems from our culture. We come from a culture where, as we were growing up, some of our parents didn't necessarily spend a lot of time talking with us, playing with us, doing things with us, spending time knowing us. Yes, I mean, for people, most of us are from Africa. So that is not the way we grew up. And so we tend to pass on this, we tend to parent our children the way we were parented. We need to develop a positive and productive relationship with our children. Now, when you have a good relationship, a secure relationship with your child, you are more likely to be their number one influencer. And that is what we are meant to be, their number one influencer. So please start to develop a positive relationship with your child. Make time to talk to them. Put down those mobile phones. Put down, turn off the TV. When our children are home with us from school, let us interact with them. Let us talk with them. Let us not always criticize, judge, condemn them, shout at them all the time. Let's have normal conversations. Let's laugh with them and let the home environment be pleasant. That way, they will open up to us. We can easily know what they are thinking, and so we can then help them if we feel they're starting to go around the wrong way. Now, the second tip is make the home environment loving, caring, welcoming, pleasant, and warm. Let us laugh and smile in our home. Parents, we don't need to fight in front of our children. We don't need the silent treatment all the time in front of our children. Our children pick these things up. And as they pick these things up, it starts to sit down in their subconscious mind, and they start to sense a feeling of lovelessness. Let's love our children. There is no perfect marriage, but when we have differences, we need to ensure that we protect our children. Let's make our home environment loving. Let's make room within our home for children to make mistakes, and we correct them in love. Let's discipline them in love and not in anger. Let our children know. The third one, show your child that you love them regardless. Children need to be told that we love them. We need to hug them. Even our teenagers love hugs. My teenage daughter would give me hugs so many times a day. They love hugs. Let's tell them we love them. Let's tell them we believe in them. Let's show them that we have high expectations, of them. And once they understand that mom and dad has high expectations of me, to be honest with you, they won't want to let you down. So let's not always throw those negative words. I know for some of us, it's something we're going to need a lot of effort to actually break, because that is part of us. That's how we grew up. With parents throwing negative words at you. You're not good enough. You stupid thing, and you this and that. Our children do not need that. They need to feel loved. And when they feel loved, home becomes a safe haven where they can come and pour out their issues and say, Mom, this is my struggle. And they know mom will not shout at them. They know mom will not hit them, but mom and dad will support them. So please, that is so important, especially in our communities. It is very, very important. Number 4, know your child's friends. How can you know your child's friends? It's important to ask them who their friends are. You may want to invite them to your house for a play date where they come and they play maybe for 2-3 hours together, and they have an evening meal together as a family. Now that helps you to see how your child relates with other children, with their friends, to see how when they're with their friends and they unleash themselves, the sort of language that come out, you could start to pick that up. So let's encourage that. And for older children, let's arrange for our teenagers. Let's arrange, because teenagers obviously don't want to do play dates necessarily within the house. They may want to go out for a movie. They may want to go out to the restaurant. They may want to go out to play, for bowling, for some outdoor activity. Let's arrange those activities. If you don't know who your child's friends are, encourage them. Go out of your way. Plan an activity. Take them out. Let them play. You just want to see how they are relating together. And you just, you don't want to be in their face, but you may want to just hang around the area while they play together that way. And then, in the process, you can just chat with them. You also have a quick hello, hi. You're not infiltrating their conversation or their time together, but you just want to know who your child's friends are. 5, know the parents of your child's friends. Now, if you invite your child's friends home, obviously a parent will come and drop them off. That way you can say, do you want to come in for a cup of tea or something like that? 5-10 minutes, you're chatting with them. That goes a long way to know who they are, what sort of communication style comes out of their mouth. It helps you, strategically you can start to pick up who they are. After school, or during pick-up time, you can chat with them while waiting for the children. Just quick, brief chat. That helps you to know who they are, how they think, their values. So please know who your child's friends' parents are. Very, very important. The next one, know where your child is and who they are with. This applies a lot, it's not just teenagers actually, even children. Sometimes we just let our kids loose to hang out with their friends, go play in the park. Parents, it is important, especially if you live in a deprived neighborhood, you need to know where your child is, okay? I usually will not let my children out playing without just hanging around somewhere. You don't need to be in their face, but just stand and just watch. You need to know where they are. For teenagers, they need to be texting you to know, to tell you where they are and where, obviously I believe that as families with boundaries, there is a cutoff time for them to come back home. So let's put all of these in place. Know where your child is at all moments, who they are with, and where they're going to. I spoke to a parent once who didn't even know where the teenager was. Now, that is not good enough. To be honest with you, these children, though these teenagers look like other adults and sometimes want to make us feel that they are adults, okay? Please, let's not get deceived. They need our every support. If they were adults and if they knew what they were doing, we wouldn't have a large proportion of teenagers going astray. So please, your teenager needs you. Number 7, surround your teenager with role models. So if you feel that your teenager has started going out of bounds, surround them with role models. Other teenagers who are good examples, who have good behavior, good character, who are respectful, who want to do well in school, who are involved in other positive activities. So you want to find those. And maybe you may want to also find younger, the younger adults, the teenagers who have just gone to university, some that are of a good testimony, who can come and relate with your child. We need to really go out of our way to make these things happen. So that is number 7. Number 8, find someone else you think your teen might be open to and encourage them to talk to them. Now, sometimes our children, because they're with us all the time and we're talking to them all the time, sometimes they might take some of the things for granted, but I do encourage us to keep talking. But I also believe it is important to have mentors for our children. Let's have maybe an adult, a young adult within your community, your friendship circle. Just find somebody that speaks your child's language, because I know for a lot of our children, they tell us, oh, you're old-fashioned, you are an African, you didn't grow up here, so you don't know what is happening here, and all that kind of thing. So find someone who is within this environment that they can actually speak the same language, but who can be of a positive influence for your child. That is really important. Number 9. It is your responsibility to wisely discourage unhealthy relationships. So if you find out that your child is involved in a relationship that isn't helpful, it is your responsibility to ensure that that relationship does not carry on. Okay? And you could use some of the strategies, presenting them with role models, getting someone else to talk to them, spending more time with our children. Because to be honest with you, in a lot of homes where each child has got their tablet or their phone, they're on the tablet, they're on the phone, there's less family time spent together. But when we have a lot more time spent together as a family, going out doing activities together, our children have less time to spend with friends involved in dysfunctional behavior. Parents, it is not on for teenagers to be out till 10 p.m. I see that all the time. Teenagers jump into the house, get changed, and they are out in the park. I see that all the time, and I think it is deplorable for us to be able to let our children with no boundaries whatsoever. They may try to put pressure on you, but in a loving way, okay? If there's love at home, you can, in a loving way, create those boundaries and those structures that will ensure that even if they're going out to play after school, we put work before play, and they're going out to play for a limited amount of time, not just staying out there till 10 o'clock at night. My husband told me something that really touched my heart. Someone within the community whose child was out with a group of boys, hooded boys, smoking in the dark at night. This was a 14-year-old boy, and it is really not on within the community. Number 10, your teen might benefit from a change of environment. Now, if you have a teenager that's completely out of hand, completely, okay, I've spoken to parents like that recently who are really struggling to control their teens because they've joined the bad group of friends. They have become defiant. They're breaking every rule and every boundary at home. I would encourage you, it is time to change environment. There is nothing wrong with changing environments. By changing environment, I mean you may want to change neighborhood. Because if you change school and get them into a different school within the same neighborhood, they will still meet up with those sort of friends. So it may be worth the sacrifice, moving into a middle class, affluent neighborhood, just so that they have the opportunity to be able to connect with a new group of hopefully positive influences. And again, structure, boundaries, consequences are so important. We will talk about that at some later point. Now, absolutely, the boundaries start from when the baby's absolutely. We really need to get that right. And we're going to be having a session just on that. Finally, number 11, if you have any questions, any contributions, keep typing them up. I might not read them all, but just keep typing them. Yes, so absolutely. Olayinka says absolutely. And finally, if you are a believer in God, you need to pray for your child. Okay? We need to pray for our children because sometimes, I believe in the power of prayer. We can't do it on our own. We need to commit our children into the hands of God. We need to commit who it is they are connecting with. We just need to break every wrong influences in our children's life and cover them, with the protection of the Lord. Vera says, I moved from Manchester to Northamptonshire and it's worked wonders. Thank you very much, Vera, for that. Absolutely. For my children as well as my career. A change of environment is powerful. Please don't stay in the same environment and you see your child going down the drain. You have the responsibility to take some serious decisions there. And a change of environment is a powerful one, a powerful decision you have to take in this case. So, any questions? I'll just wait and see if people have got questions while I just make a few brief announcements. If you found it useful and you know any parent who is struggling with their children or their teenagers, please share this with them. And please feel free to contact me. As I said before, I'm a parent mentor. I work with parents, helping parents create the right home environment for their children, support their children, children's education, and with aspects of parenting. So if you need that, that is a service that I offer as well. Secondly, if you haven't got a copy of my book, I share lots and lots of strategies in there that would be really useful for you. It's called Surpass Every Expectation. I did show it last week. You can get it on Amazon. It's titled Surpass Every Expectation. Now, if you're watching tonight and you haven't liked the Facebook page, please like the page so that when I go online, you can actually you can receive the notification and join in. And finally, if you like what we do, if you like the work and you feel the work Star Reachers Communities Initiative is doing within the community is really important and you've benefited from it, I need your support. I need you to vote for Star Reachers Community Initiative. We have been nominated to receive an award from the National Diversity Awards. Okay, in the category of community organization for the work we do within the community. It's an award that is meant to acknowledge and recognize the amazing work that organizations are doing. I'm going to put the link up in this Facebook page, and I say, please, if you like the work, it's going to take you just 1 minute to support this work, to support this organization. I believe it's a growing organization and we are having impact already, enlightening and helping parents. Vera says, please try and send notification on Facebook prior to coming online. Okay, each topic you talk about is so valuable. Thank you so much, Vera, for that. Well done. Thank you very much, Vera. I do appreciate that comment. So please do support this organization. I believe that the work we're doing, is benefiting our people, and I believe that it's going to grow and, reach far beyond Manchester and all into the, all parts of the UK. So thank you very much for joining us today. And I look forward to another empowering and educative session next Sunday. Have a blessed week and remain blessed. Bye-bye.